Hi everyone, this is Ryan Hoyme, aka Massage Nerd, and tonight we have a special time and a special guest, Nathan Nordstrom. Welcome, Nathan.
Hey Ryan, how are you doing?
Good.
Hey
so,
guys.
can you just give a little background on you?
A little background or current ground? Let's start with
A
the
little both,
background.
yeah.
Been a massage therapist for well all my working life. I got out of high school and served church mission, and then came back and realized, hey, you know what? I really want to do something I love. When I found out that massage therapy was an actual career, I was like, that is for me. Went to massage school, graduated, and worked in some high-end spas. Owned a spa in Portland, Oregon. Loved it. Sold the place. Worked in the medical field with chiropractors and hospitals. Worked with several different people around. After I got through some advanced degrees, I actually then decided that I want to teach full time, and so I started teaching massage therapy at a chiropractic college, and was teaching actually at a lot of continuing education. Then teaching with Body Worlds, which is a traveling cadaver lab that we do some advanced kinesiology, kind of reintroducing. And so that's kind of me in the post. Currently, I live in Savannah, Georgia, and I'm the program director at a Virginia college here in Savannah, and have a great job and really love helping people come into the massage therapy field and really start finding careers that they're passionate about and that they want to do for the rest of their life.
Yes, definitely. And also ethics are really big into your nature then, right?
Yeah, early on, I actually started writing a book, and where's the wood to knock on? I guess I'll go with this. Um, I started writing a book on ethics, and we're looking at this year actually getting it published, finally, and having everything done. It's called Fully Exposed Ethical Dilemmas. I teach that class around the country. The next show is going to be in Atlanta at the American Massage Conference, which is at registrations at oneconcept.com, and that's going to be here in Atlanta, Georgia, and that's coming up in the middle of May, so May 16th through 18th. We're going to be teaching us versus them. Really, what we do with ethics is not really the standard ethics class. It's a lot more of application of ethics and the fun of ethics. For anyone who's ever slept through an ethics class like most of us have done, yeah, it is more application of your own personal ethics. What you found to be detrimental in an ethics class, we actually poke fun at. What you found to be enjoyable about an ethics class, we expand upon. Myself and Adam Parrott are the ones who are co-authoring the book and putting it all together. We've taught the class together and apart, and every time we teach it together, we find us laughing at each other just as much as the audience laughing with us. I actually put it together more as a live show, more of a screen performance than really an ethics class, where people could really connect with the character and connect with the ethical dilemma that's going on, and then really connect with why do I feel a ethical dilemma here? Why is my gut saying, oh, that sucks? Because that's what our gut does. That's when we know we're in an ethical dilemma, is our heart tells us something's wrong, and our gut says, get out. And so those ethical dilemmas are the things that really enlighten us and kind of go, okay, how am I going to stay away from that? How am I going to make sure that's not me? Because when we see those things, when we connect with a character, a person, an idea, those hold on. Even if it's a falsified story, which I avoid in our class. But we've all heard those rumors about that one massage therapist who did this thing, and we kind of go, oh, that's a horrible idea. I can't believe someone did that. Feasibly, someone may have done that, but we don't have the name, the date, or what actually happened to prove that that scenario happened. But we connected with that story. We connected with that character. And that's where an ethics type scenario, an ethics-based class, really can kind of give us education. The book we're actually putting together more as a side, a support text instead of a basic school text. Basic school texts are definitely going to give you definitions, explanations, organizations, and why. We'll have that in there kind of as more support documentation, but we're going to be more going with story, connection, and then going into how that kind of supports and how that actually gets you connected to the why instead of going with the why and then giving you a story why.
Yeah, and with ethics too. I mean, a lot of time, especially on Facebook groups and stuff, people bring up ethics all the time. And the thing is, a lot of times you'll get half that are okay with what they said, other half that are not okay with it. So, is there a lot of like fine lines with ethics? And
one of my favorite stories on that behalf, and yes, you get this all the time on Facebook. We had a convention. I think it was an AMTA convention, a national convention, and we had a group of massage therapists who came in from all across the country, and we were talking about several different scenarios, and one of the ethical dilemmas that we had was your client asked you to come to their child's birthday party. And so that was the ethical background to the story. Now the story goes in and it says a little bit more, but it leaves a lot of vague in it. And we literally almost had a riot. I mean, people were livid about this because some people were saying, there's no way I'd go to my client's child's birthday party. That doesn't make sense at all because that is a boundary crossing. That person, I shouldn't be connected with them enough to know their child's birthday or to have to really be there for their child's birthday party. And the other half were the complete opposite. They said, you know what? If I don't go to my child's birthday party, I'm not getting more clients. By being out there and being connected with that child and that child's birthday party, I'm connecting with the grandparents, I'm connecting with the friends, the neighbors, the parents of the child's friends, and I get my name out there. And people were so livid about it, and then we pointed out one aspect of difference there. And we asked, how many of you are from large towns and large cities? And it seemed that everyone who felt that that was a boundary cross was from a larger city. And then when we asked about, okay, so for those of you who really are connected, how many of you are from small towns? And the majority of them were from small towns. And so we pulled the concept that, you know what, sometimes when you look at a boundary or an ethical dilemma, it's by your circumstances. So in a small town, if you're not connecting to all the social activities that are there, which a child's birthday can be the connection of an entire small town if you have a town of 1,000. And if that's your market and you have to make sure that you get all 1,000 people in that community, those are the people that you're going to hit. And those are going to be the people that you want to hit. You want to get into that connection. So then we started asking the next question, which is the harder question. Why do you set the boundaries where you do? And so the people who are like, yeah, I'll go to the birthday party, but what will you say? Will you introduce yourself as the mom's massage therapist? Or when the mom comes up and says, oh, this is my friend, do you shake your hand and say, oh, hi, how are you, and not say anything? Because that is their boundary to have. If they are saying, you know what, this is just a friend of ours, then you have to be in that role as a friend instead of saying, no, I'm not. She's lying. I'm her massage therapist, and I'm the one who keeps her walking around and happy. That's not going to work, right? So then the other people who are like, I would never go to my client's child's birthday. Well, wait a second. What if you're working on that client and that child as well? What if the child is your client because they were in a car accident with their parent? If they were in a car accident and you were working on them and they requested that you come in, how does that work? Do you deny that child your presence? Because they may like you, they may think you're a great person. Do you then say, you know what, I can't hold that boundary, I need to hold that boundary? That's an important piece to be aware of in your own connection. All these stories that we see on Facebook or on any of the blogs, you smile because you go, yep, each one of those has a circumstance behind it. Each one of those people who are very strongly willed about this have a story, have an experience that they're connecting with that one portion of a blog, because the blogs don't give you enough information to go, oh, I understand exactly what this person's going through. There's always abstract scenarios going around behind it.
Yep. And for myself, my first business I had was in a small town of 2,000 people. But the thing is, me being a male, I played it safe and didn't go to any of those events and stuff.
Male, female. Another huge boundary, right?
Yep.
In our school, we have 3 instructors, and the 3 instructors are all amazing. We have 2 male instructors and a female instructor. And when they're teaching and they're going out and they're talking about the benefits of massage and how they do it and why they do it, and then they start asking questions about, okay, so how do you drape a client and how do you drape a client? You know what? My drapes, tight as they can be. You know what? If it's a tourniquet, it's almost tight enough. Because I don't want anyone ever questioning if I was trying to peek anything, and I make sure and I ask, is that tight enough for you? Is that too tight? Perfect, we can loosen it up a little bit. But I'd much rather have it that side because I'm a male. And our female instructor, she has a very good drape. I wouldn't say it was bad, but it's less secure. And so that is one of those ideas where it's a male-female piece. If you're working on a female, do you drape exactly the same as if you're working on a male? If you can't say yes, then you've got a reason for responding that way.
Yep.
Sometimes that's a bad thing, sometimes it's not.
Exactly. Yep. And then for the one concept class, can you kind of go over what you go over in that 3 hours?
Well, we got 2 things. The first one is we've got 2 classes that are going to be going on, or I have 2 classes that are going to be going on. One of them is the 3-hour us versus them. And what we're going to be going over is we're going to pull up different stories. We're going to hit those concepts. We're going to start playing this game of, well, if you hear this story about Tina, and all the stories that we have are actually about people we know or about us. Sometimes some of them are about myself or Adam. And then we do small group and large group discussion. We let the small groups really hash it out about, okay, I'll do this, I'll do this. There have been a couple of times when we've had to have the class be a confessional, where someone is saying, hey, in the past I did something wrong, and we tell them, hey, are you going to do that anymore? Is that something that's going to continue in your life, or have you kind of learned your lesson? Have you decided that that's inappropriate? And almost always they're like, you know what, I wouldn't do it because I can see these boundaries that other people have, or I can see how it made that person in the story feel, so maybe I should do this or do that. And so we use those tools. In a lot of the marketing that we use on this class, we actually talk about the art of storytelling, because it really is this kind of concept of pulling you in to that aspect. So we're going to go through, we usually do a subject every half hour, so usually we've got about 6 different subjects that we hit in 3 hours. We have breaks in between, and the majority of the time during the break, people go out in the hall and they talk about a story that they have, or a story that they've heard about, or they continue talking about that story. The other class that I'm going to be doing, so that's going to be on the Friday. The other class that I'm going to be doing is going to be on the Sunday, so it's going to be the end of the One Concept Conference. And that's going to be the scapular-costal joint. And we're going to be talking about how the scapula moves along the ribs, how it can be dysfunctional, how we can stabilize that. I'm teaching that with Gentle Ben Glosson. And Ben and I will be putting this class together. It's going to be a 1-hour class that we're really focusing just on that joint. So we'll be looking at the acromioclavicular joint, the scapular-costal joint, and how the scapula moves and why. Kind of gives you a little bit more of the range of motion aspects of why you have to be looking at different pathologies relating to the scapular movement, including how the neck is connected to the scapula and its movement. Also, side note for you and the few people listening, it's a little secret. On Thursday the 15th, myself and my students from our school are going to be driving up, and then that evening we're going to go to Bodies the Exhibition, which is there in Atlanta, and I'm going to do a guided tour for free for anybody who wants to come up and participate with us. It's going to be from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. We're going to be going through the exhibit and pointing out the advanced kinesiology, going through extra questions, and just kind of playing, using a great classroom. Bodies the Exhibition and Body Worlds are amazing classrooms for advanced kinesiology to really kind of hone your mind around what you're actually touching and how you're affecting the human body beneath the skin. So that's going to be a free class. It's you're responsible for the entrance fee, which I think after taxes is about $25. But you get to go in and play and enjoy, and spend as much time as you want. And I'll be there for answering questions, asking questions, connecting, and it'll be a lot of fun. If you get into Atlanta beforehand, it's worth a trip.
Do you still teach those kind of classes around the United States then, or?
I actually took a break from teaching CEs while I was starting to get into the program director position. I'm actually starting to increase that again. I also took a break because I'm on the AMTA National Board. So a lot of the market that I was using originally was the AMTA chapters for going out and teaching classes. And when I went on the national board, I didn't really feel comfortable with being a national board member and really selling myself to the chapters as, hey, come use me for your chapter, because then I've got that lead position.
So that's an ethical thing then, right?
That was my own ethical dilemma that I got to play with, and it was kind of fun. But so I kind of put that on the back burner. So when other things like the American Massage Conference here in Atlanta comes up and says, hey, are you interested? I don't have that direct relationship, so I felt comfortable with that. And so I'm going to present in other venues that I don't have direct or indirect control with. And so if anybody wants me to come out to teach CEs at their location, their school, their venue, feel free to give me a call or an email. My email is nathan@educatedtouch.com. And so we will be.
Just be a moment. I think you lost power. Okay, so I think we'll end this one, and then at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time tonight, we'll go over the next one. And just because he's had problems with storms there, and they lost power for a while, so they might have lost power again. So thanks for tuning in, and appreciate it.